I'm a combat advisor to the Afghan National Police. So we took a convoy out to what we call MOI Tech, Ministry of Interior technical area. They deal with all the weapons and a lot of the vehicle maintenance for the ANP, Afghan National Police, here in Afghanistan. We went to talk to Brigadier General Sami and Colonel Hussein, who are the commander and the deputy there, and they have a lot of pull with everything Afghan logistics-wise. Winter OCIE, that's their winter coats and jackets, shirts, stuff like that, making sure they get that from the central area to the regional areas and then down to the individual units, so that here in the winter time people aren't freezing or wearing their own civilian coats. They're actually wearing police coats. We also help with weapons. We're able to start a demill process. So we give the Afghan National Police some M16s from the States. Our old M16s we don't use anymore. We're giving them to the Afghans. They're starting to use M16s instead of AK-47s because it's easier for us to get them ammunition. So they use the M16s, then they turn in AK-47s. When they turn in those AK-47s, we check them for serviceability, because a lot of them are super old. So we'll check them for serviceability, and then if they're still good or need minor repairs, those will get repaired, and those go to the ALP, Afghan local police, which are kind of in the villages, in the outskirts of different places. We roll out with Army, Navy, Marine Corps. We got a Danish major, a Spanish 06. It's completely joint and combined with all services. The netting on the side is to help if there's any RPGs that come in, it'll hit the netting first and explode outside, because some RPGs are armor piercing, so they could actually get inside there. But as long as they hit the netting first, it'll explode outside and we're still protected inside. These are beasts of a machine. They're awesome. We love them, but we always roll with gunners on top with 240 machine gun and an M4, just in case we have to return fire or anything. But it's a bit involved. Like, we come out here early in the morning to get the trucks fired up, get them running, get the guns mounted. We have to have a convoy brief. Everybody knows what their job is, what to do in case of attack, all that stuff, and then we roll out the gate. And we're outside the wire, and we're on our own for several hours until we come back. It's even when we get to the Afghan compounds that are secured, we never let our guard down, because that's where most of the green on blue attacks happen, is with our Afghan counterparts. Usually the guards that aren't being paid very well. So we're not too concerned with the principals that we talk to. The colonels and the generals, they're paid pretty well. They know we're trying to help. Everybody's on board with that, but we really have to worry about the guards a lot of times, because you never know where the guard came from, what he might think about Americans. So we try to make as many friends as possible. I always take extra juice box or Skittles or something and hand out to the guards, try to make friends, try to get to know them, ask them how they are, how their family is. So try to do as best we can to keep up relations everywhere we go. So one of the things that we do here, we did a little bit of training back in the States. We got more training here in country, is what's called the Guardian Angel program. It's this patch right here. For a Guardian Angel, that's basically a person who has their weapon on them, ready to go, the safety's off, and they are watching over you while you're talking to your Afghans. A lot of times when we go in, as the advisor, I'm going to take my helmet off, I'm going to take my IBA off, and I'm going to talk to the Afghan just like this. No body armor. I still have my sidearm, but I'm not necessarily ready, because I don't want to intimidate him, because we're trying to help. But I'll have my Guardian Angel there in the room with me. He's fully kitted up, and he's got his finger very close to the trigger, not on it, but close, and he's watching everything. He's trying to make sure nobody's trying to do anything crazy at the windows, nobody is trying to pull a weapon or anything, and if something did happen, he's going to be the first one to react and protect everybody in the room. And sometimes that could even be protecting the colonel or the general that we're talking to too. So you never know where an attack could come from or who they're targeting. What we've noticed a lot lately is the enemy has been targeting the Afghan colonels and generals that we've been talking to. Recently there was one that was blown up by a magnetic IED and blew his SUV that he was riding in to bits, and he's gone. And it's taken about 3 weeks to find a replacement for that. So that's really the threat here. You gotta try to build that relationship, and it doesn't happen overnight, especially here in Afghanistan. It takes a little while to build rapport with your Afghan counterparts before they're going to listen to you, before they're going to want to do what you're trying to help them with. And that was very difficult. It took me about a month and a half really to build that relationship. But when I finally did, I knew I finally built the relationship because Colonel Hussein called me his little brother, and that was the greatest feeling in the world, because he was like, I wasn't sure if I was getting to him a lot of times, and I'd ask him for things, wasn't always quite getting what I was looking for, and then he started calling me little brother, and then it's like everything started clicking, and anything I'd ask him for, I'd get pretty quick. He would start giving me information that I didn't necessarily ask for, so it was really like a month and a half, 2 months of building a relationship before I could actually really work here. Working in Afghanistan with the Afghans is very difficult sometimes, because there's so much of their culture is built around relationships and built around knowing the person. We never start any engagement without talking about how our family is, how we're doing, which is something I've learned. I mean, I came from a very friendly environment, coming from the South, actually. Everybody asks you how you are, but they don't really listen for the response. Here, they want to know, how are you doing? How is your family? So they're actually listening for that response. So after we get through all the little pleasantries and we talk about how we're doing, how they're doing, then we can actually get down to business and talk about what's going on. We have one Afghan that we advise. He usually starts off the meeting by giving us a complete rundown of everything they've done in the last week. Other times we have to ask. A lot of times we'll bring in our agenda of everything we want to try to see them accomplish, because there's certain products that we can see online through a system called Core IMS. It's their logistics system, and we can access it online here, and we can track what they're moving, what they're not moving, what's in the system, what's not in the system. And we ask them questions about that a lot of times. Usually it's saying, hey, you didn't put this in the system, please put it in, please show that this shipped, or ask them, hey, did this actually ship? We'll see truck convoy reports, and we'll be like, hey, this convoy went to Kandahar. What'd you put on it? Because I don't see anything in Core IMS that says you shipped anything to Kandahar yet. So it's very difficult to try to explain something like Amazon or FedEx to having one place where you can order everything, an online thing that you can order everything from, or having real-time tracking of where your stuff is. That's something that's very easy for us to understand as coming from a Western world, but for Afghans who sometimes have never even seen a computer before we got here, they have no clue. So it's very difficult to try to teach them how to put stuff into a system that they don't have a concept of. So that's been our biggest challenge here with logistics, is trying to see what they have, where they have it, where it's being shipped. Because the big thing for American logistics is right stuff, right place, right time. Afghan logistics is like, I'm gonna hold it so that whenever I need it, I've got it. And every location wants to hold. And if every location holds and they never tell anybody what they've got, then we just keep piling stuff up in one location, and that location might have something that this location needs. And when they don't talk, it slows the whole process down, and it gives the enemy an upper hand. So we're trying to help mitigate that, trying to put everything in one system where everybody can see what this location has, what this location has, and show them how to move that from one location to the other to help get a little bit more lean with their logistics. So a lot of times when you get here, people will say, pick one or two things you want to accomplish while you're here, and you may not do that. One of the things that I wanted to do is work on the kind of fell in my lap was the demilitarization project for the AK-47s. It was kind of stagnated since I got here. I got here in October. They've been trying to destroy weapons since April. None of the weapons had been destroyed. But I was able to build some relationships, talk to different people, brought in a few people to talk to my Afghan colonel. We had an Air Force colonel talk to my Afghan colonel. And we ended up going through 3 different ciphers. A cipher is like a written order in Afghanistan. Got the Minister of Interior to sign 3 different ciphers that said, hey, destroy these weapons, and authorizing these weapons to be destroyed. And it took a long time. It took a lot of patience. Finally got it done. Saw the first couple get cut up with a blowtorch one day. It was a pretty amazing feeling to finally get something done that somebody had been trying to do since April. We finally got it done towards the end of November, beginning of December. I don't remember exactly the date. So that was really cool. Well, one of the great things about Afghans, they have a great sense of humor. Very first day I was out on mission, I was talking to one of the interpreters, and he was giving my interpreter a really hard time. And so some of my training in Dari, I called this other guy, I call him Mullah Nasruddin, which is an Afghan cartoon character that's like Beetle Bailey or something from the States. So I basically called this other guy a cartoon character. He's just, like, all the interpreters just like died out laughing. They're like, where'd you hear that? I can't believe you knew that. It was hilarious. It was great. But that helped break the ice with all the interpreters, so now the interpreters like me. I joined the Air Force out of patriotism. A lot of times I tell people I joined the Air Force to see the world, but I also had a deep desire to serve others, be a part of something bigger than myself. And here I am able to do something bigger than myself. And of course I can do that anywhere in the Air Force, back home. I help with logistics for everything on the base to help get planes flying and stuff, and it's pretty rewarding. But here, even though it's very frustrating a lot of times because we don't see much movement with the Afghans, we don't see a lot of improvement, we are trying to help make things better. We're trying to help Afghan have a secure future. This country is beautiful. You can't see the mountains today because of the clouds, but the Hindu Kush mountains are right over there. They're snow-capped right now. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. They have the most amazing fruit here you've ever tasted. Like, life was good. Life is still good here. It's just not as good as it could be. And that's what we're trying to do is help them get back to a sense of normalcy without war.